Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of Tornado Talk, inside look at Brevard College athletics. We'll be doing these special editions throughout the season with all the sports here at Brevard College, but our first special edition of the 2019 and 20 season is a men's soccer preview where we'll take a deep dive into the 2019 Brevard College men's soccer program. We have a variety of guests. First up will be the man to my right here, Coach Elio Dana, and we'll hear from Associate Head Coach Juan Mascaro Jr. and many student athletes on the men's soccer team here at Brevard College. Very happy to have you all joining us for this special edition of Tornado Talk, an inside look at Brevard College athletics. And with that, we'll get started right away here, as I am joined by Coach Elio Dana.
Coach L.
Known affectionately as Coach L.
That's right.
The former name Elio, but Coach L is what the entire college soccer coaching community and playing community
and
knows you as. And, of course, your wife. Coach L, officially wanted to, on air here, welcome you to Brevard College. I know it's an institution that you've been very familiar with over the years, and now you're the head coach of the men's soccer program. Can you talk a little bit about that familiarity of Brevard College and what it feels like to be here now as the head coach?
Yeah, I feel like I've been here for many years now because my wife, for those that don't know, she's Debbie Dana. She's the Dean of Students here at Brevard. She's been here for the past 7 years. Dr. Joyce, our president here, used to be our boss. When I say ours, I mean myself and my wife at Union College when I first started my career. So when he came over, he snatched my wife and kept asking me, when are you coming, when are you coming? And sometimes it's a bunch of little reasons, but the opportunity finally came. But throughout these past 7 years, I was working at another institution not too far, but I wouldn't see my wife quite as often as I do now.
And you mentioned the other institution. You most recently were at Lincoln Memorial University up in Tennessee, so you're familiar with this part of the country and the college soccer that's played through this region. Can you talk a little further about Western North Carolina, the Tennessee area, the Georgia, the mountains here where we are, and the soccer scene in this area?
Well, for one thing, Brevard used to be in the same conference as Lincoln Memorial when they were a Division II institution in the South Atlantic. And so we've played each other many times, and obviously that conference has all the North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia area in terms of D2. But throughout this time, we would always step out of conference and play other institutions, some of them in this current Division III conference. So good soccer, not only in terms of the quality of the college programs, but also the feeding, clubs and high schools. So to me, when you look even the one before, which was in Kentucky that I used to work at Union College, we've always done recruiting in this area and being club or high school. And so, yeah, good soccer betting.
Coach, before we get into a preview of the 2019 season, would like viewers to get to know you even a little more since you're a new face to many of them. You're a native of Brazil.
That's right.
And so if we can start all the way back, when you first discovered the sport of soccer, or football as it's known throughout the world.
In Brazil, it's before you're born, right? So you kick a little bit in the womb. But, it's part of the culture. It's such a big sport there, and I've always... You have those, like any Brazilian, that dream to become a player, and I had the dream and not the gift. So throughout, as I grew up, I realized in a hurry that if I wanted to be involved with soccer, it would have had to be somewhere else. So after playing, and I actually did more than soccer. I did track and field, I did basketball. And in Brazil, as it is in most countries, you don't play inside of the school system, you play in the club system. And because of that, if you get better at any of the sports, your school hurts. You start missing classes. There's no accommodation for that. So that's why I kept jumping from sport to sport. My family would never allow me to miss too much in terms of classes. So it actually gave me that passion and just appreciation for athletics. And I did not know growing up the model that the U.S. follows. I ended up in my sophomore year in college getting an introduction because I got hired even while I was in college to work at an American high school in Brazil.
Mm.
And that's when I learned the system, and that's when I fell in love. And even at that point, I already knew that that's what I wanted to do, come to the U.S. So by the time I graduated in college, I already had an opportunity to come to the U.S.
Yeah, and certainly as a coach, you've had tremendous success, including being named the Regions Men's Soccer Coach of the Year in 2007, a finalist for NCAA National Coach of the Year in 2006. Ton of success in your tenure at Lincoln Memorial in particular. So we're blessed to have you here, Coach. As you were talking and you spoke about, just how ingrained the sport of soccer is in Brazil. It's certainly a world game, by all measurements, the most popular sport in the world. But now that you've been coaching in the United States for so many years, and the sport is starting to gain even more popularity here in the States, how do you see college soccer and U.S. soccer in today's day of 2019?
Yeah, no, and as crazy as it sounds, I have spent more of my life in the U.S. than I did in Brazil now. I mean, considerably. And when I first came to the U.S., and you started kicking a ball, people would look at you, and you're talking now 80, 89. People will look at you and wonder what's wrong with this guy, And now, fast forward all these many years, and I think soccer here is, I don't want to compare with other sports, but it's a big, big sport. I did read not long ago a statistic that talked about grassroots, and there's more kids playing soccer now in the U.S. than the other sports in terms of like 6, 7 years old. So it's only going to continue growing, and it's parts. The U.S. has a different way. They're passionate about all sports. So, but it's part of the national culture too, I think.
Now, as I look at the 2019 men's soccer roster, I can't ignore the fact that over half the team, it seems like, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, are international. The majority of which are from South America, many Brazilians. You'll see Ecuador there, but you also see England and Algeria on the roster. As someone who's now coaching here at Brevard College and who's very familiar with Brevard and now mentoring these young men on the soccer team, why is Brevard College a good fit for an international student athlete?
Sure. I mean, these two schools or institutions that I've worked for were good schools. They were good. They provided those players, and I'll go beyond internationals that came from other places. Good education, but throughout that time, I've always thought, I like to be at a place that gives a little better, like, just overall atmosphere, or just a college town, and a place where a beautiful place, a place where college kids would enjoy, and Brevard has it. And Dr. Joyce, as I mentioned, came from Union College, and funny as it sounds, yesterday we were eating lunch together, and we were bringing exactly that, that Brevard is blessed. And so there's so much that the settings, the school, and the surrounding area. I love the North Carolina mountains. I love the outdoors. I love Asheville. That a college kid has everything that they can wish for.
Mm-hmm. And with the convenience of the Asheville airport and nearby airports in Greenville, Spartanburg, Charlotte, and Atlanta, it's really easier than people might think, to get here to Brevard.
Absolutely.
If we can start with a bit of a preview, Coach, of this year's team, and what I'd like to do is go position by position. Okay. And I know some things are still being flushed out as the season opener is for the regular season's coming this weekend, but at least through this portion of preseason, if you can, give your best thoughts on each of these units. And we'll start with the goalkeeper position.
Sure.
Patrick Hall, who has been a stalwart here, for several years, returns, but I know you have some great newcomers as well.
Yeah, one thing you're going to find out in a hurry if we do these a few more times, I never mention players by name because, number one, each and every one of them, and I sincerely mean it, they got something that they bring to the table.
Mm.
But also, I may forget somebody and not be forgiven, you know. But what I can say about the keepers in general, we're blessed. We're blessed. Even looking back in the previous institutions that I've worked for, I don't think I've had as deep goalkeeping position as we have here. So I feel comfortable with whoever is stepping up and getting, in goal. And the good thing is you have this, there's seniors and underclassmen and juniors, and so there's this spreading that you're going to be set for the years to come.
One thing I always like picking coaches' minds on when it comes to the goalkeeper position is what your thoughts on as far as a goalkeeper's role in becoming part of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
He collects the ball after a save, and then what happens in terms of distribution and so forth. Do you have certain philosophies as far as where the ball should go after the goalkeeper collects it?
Yeah, like anything, everything has to have a beginning, right? A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, and the keeper is the first step. So being from the dead, like the set kick, goal kick, or free kick, or whatever, that oftentimes the keeper takes from the back, but also after a save, after a pass back, keepers have to have good distribution, both with the feet and hand, which is difficult, and be able to kind of initiate whatever we're going to build, and that can make or break your team. So to me, the keeper has to be a good shot stopper, but also a good soccer player, and on top of it, they got to be a good communicator and a good leader because they see the whole thing. And with the system that we play, they have to give cues, and they have to keep things in order, because otherwise people are going to overcommit on offense and not come back, or not see people that are crossing through and not have coverage, and we have that, on all of them different ways. There's like you mentioned, Patrick is more vocal, a leader, he's a captain, but there's different kinds of leadership, and we're well taken care in the goal.
And then the defense. Would love to hear your thoughts on what makes a great defender and what you're looking for from the Tornadoes as far as a unit goes on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever, and I told this to the players, I don't ever tell them that I know what's best and I know everything, because there's different philosophies. Soccer is a funny game, you can get to it in so many different ways, and not always one is better than the other. But I got to stay true to what I am and who where I came from and who I am. And so we are building from the back. So to me, the defenders have to be not only good destroyers, but good passers. And that's a bit of a change, from previous, philosophies, but it has been an adjustment. But we are strong, we're athletic, we're mean and nasty, Now we got to get a little bit more technique in it. But even within the defense, you have kind of two segments to it. You have the center backs that they are more of ball winners, even though they have to pass it from the back. But then the fullbacks, they're really both, and that's the position I've played. And you got to support and make runs. And so now you got to be both a good winger, if you will, and a good defender.
And the midfield. I know we've got some new faces there, as well as some veterans coming back in the midfield for the Tornadoes. Could you discuss that unit a bit?
Yeah, so again, that's the philosophy that we're applying. We're going to play through the middle. So if you're going to build from the back, you have options. You can go direct and bypass the middle and play a little more direct, or you can play possession. We've been adopting the possession. So that means it's a ton of responsibility. It's a privilege, but a ton of responsibility for the mids, because they cannot turn it over, and so that has been a learning curve. And you've been at the first two scrimmages, and you can tell the difference from the first to the second, and it's still a work in progress. But we have the talents. We're just a bit young in the middle. Lots of freshmen and lots of new players, but lots of even returners that are not quite seniors. And as I told them, it's a privilege for them, because they're going to get a ton more touches. Soccer is kind of a weird game, you got 90 minutes, but if you look at statistics, they don't have the ball for more than 1 or 2 minutes. And if so, and that's good news for them. They're going to have a little more than the usual.
And finally, the forwards, or the strikers, the guys who are most tasked with putting the ball in the back of the net. How are we looking in that department heading into the season opener?
Yeah, I mean, the answer about being young goes everywhere. Perhaps our defense is the most veteran of all the segments, but yes, we're very young up there. But on our attacking mode, and we've played two scrimmages and used three formations so far. So we're still kind of trying to find our way there. But either way, we sometimes looked at two up front, sometimes three up front. But with the forwards, you got the two main characteristics. Some of them are a little more post up, just like in basketball, and some of them are a little more the speedsters and the wingers. And we're deep on both. We need to score more than last year. We looked at the team goals and everything else, and looked at how much or how little they scored last year, and these guys have a little pressure on themselves because we set up a goal to almost double what we scored last year. But that goes beyond the forwards. Everybody has the responsibility to score, even the defenders on set pieces.
Appreciate that unit by unit kind of
Yeah,
overview
thank
of
you.
the 2019 team. Now, Coach, in your short time here, you have made some changes and some improvements to the Brevard College program, but do want to talk specifically about your coaching staff. We'll have on Juan Mascaro Jr. In just a little bit here on the program. He's the associate head coach, and we also have a gentleman by the name of Brian Lewis as your volunteer assistant coach. I know these two are tremendous assets to you as far as your coaching staff goes. Could you go even further on what those two coaches mean to the program?
Absolutely. I mean, starting with junior or one, continuity is a big thing, right? I mean, I visited and met with all the players when I first got here, and the seniors went through four coaches by now. It is what it is. It's part of college athletics, but throughout, junior was the anchor, and he gave him stability, and he kept the ship together, I'll be honest with you. And he's a good recruiter. He's got the right demeanor to just that mixture of being approachable yet, establish your authority. And he's a veteran coach, even though he's young, so he's poised to have a future as in this business. But we rely a lot on him. Of course, he trains the keepers because that's the position that he played. Brian joined us as a volunteer. We met in passing here much before I got hired here, and we saw each other's shirts, and I saw he played at Wingates, not far from here, and I saw that he was a soccer player. We struck a conversation, and he said, "Yeah, my wife got hired in town, and she's a veterinarian here in town, and I love to get back to the game." And Lord behold, here we are. And I told him, I'm actually looking to move over here. If I do, would you like to work with us? Funny as it sounds, he gets hired at Brevard, so he's now full-time at Brevard in another department, but in a position that he can have the freedom to still help us. And he's an athlete and a half. He's a ultra marathon runner. And he played some football, professional football, as a kicker.
That's right, American football.
Correct,
Yep.
which is normal. It's a lot of times the kickers come from the soccer
Sure.
world. So he brings a ton of athleticism in terms of his knowledge of being an athlete, but also professional experience.
Outstanding. You mentioned Juan Jr. and his role, working with the goalkeepers in specific. Can you go even further as far as the responsibilities of Coach Mascaro as well as Coach Lewis?
Yeah, so especially starting with Junior, that is a full-time, part of the staff. That's his full-time job, So he's involved in every aspect. To me, it's very important. I mean, I take pride so much of accomplishments that my players have had, accomplishments that my programs have had, but a ton of pride of my former assistants that today they're head coach somewhere, and you can pick a level, even professional. I have some former players that are in the pro level, in the college level, in the high school level, in the club level, and I've always told them, I'll give you whatever you want to put your get involved with. And Junior is involved with everything, and that's good because he's not only organized and dependable and all that good stuff, but he's eager because that's the profession he wants to pursue, and he's going to be well prepared when he leaves here.
Outstanding. Coach, I mentioned the improvements that have been made since your arrival, and a couple that I've noticed, and maybe there's even some more you can enlighten us to, is improvements to the locker rooms, where it looks gorgeous in that facility right now, and each locker with individual artwork and that kind of thing. It just looks terrific, and also your social media presence has been ramped up considerably in short time since your arrival. If you could expound on those two and perhaps any other improvements that have been made or maybe are in the works.
Sure. I mean, nothing is one more important than the other. It's a bunch of little channels that go parallel, but in the locker room, and I'll say, in the gear that we wear, in the what we look. I told the guys that it's so important because we are the representation of the school, no matter where we go. And oftentimes people will say, Brevard, what? Oh yeah, I saw their team, and they look like they got their act together. And to me, it's important. And it's also important to me. I'm a little OCD about being tidy, being things in order, because I think it promotes soccer's chaotic enough. Let's have everything else in order. And so yeah, we put a lot of effort and a little money into it. But you mentioned the social media anymore. I mean, this is recruiting is everything in college soccer. And social media is a huge part of recruiting. So if you don't have that, if you don't reach out and meet the young student athletes where they actually gravitate towards, you miss a big part, right? So yes, there's that. But at the end of the day, since recruiting is a big part, I hope that even in this short period of time, we've kind of showed a little bit of results on the recruiting, because President Clinton used to say the economy is stupid. I say it's recruiting stupid. I mean, I can be full of flaws in everything else, but if I can recruit well, I can be a good coach.
Yeah, and certainly really looking forward to seeing all these new faces out there on the soccer field. Fans, the action begins this weekend. The Tornadoes hit the road to Mount Berry, Georgia, games against Swanee and the host of the Berry Invitational, Berry. Then a game at Montreat. That's nearby. If you're in the Asheville, Montreat, or Black Mountain area, you might want to head over on Saturday, September the 7th at 7 p.m. But then the home opener versus Covenant at Ives Lamel Family Field, 3 p.m. on Saturday, September 14th. Coach, if we can conclude it with perhaps a message to the fans and the Brevard College community, how important it is to see them out there at Ives Lamel Family Field and what kind of experience they'll have seeing these student athletes.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is this, all right? We want to be a part of this community. So we're already reaching out the youth clubs, and eventually we're going to do these community activities with the team, volunteer activities, whatever. We want to step out and go out there. But since the season comes first, let's do the opposite. Let's have these people come and check us out. It's a good atmosphere no matter what. It's great weather, great, beautiful facilities. Hopefully they're going to like what they see. But like I said, my promise is meet us and we'll come help you after the season.
Sounds like a win-win for both parties involved. Coach, thanks for joining this special edition of Tornado Talk. We look forward to hearing from Associate Head Coach Juan Mascaro Jr. as well as several of your student athletes to round out this show. And we'll see you on the pitch in a couple weeks for that regular season opener.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. All right, that was Coach L. Dana, head coach of the Brevard College Tornadoes men's soccer program. Great to have him kick off this special edition of Tornado Talk. We're at the Whittick Conference Room in the Boshemer Gymnasium. We typically do Tornado Talk at Dugan's Pub on Monday nights. That's not going to end, but we're going to occasionally mix in these special editions, and great to have to my right here Associate Head Coach Juan Mascaro Jr. Coach Mascaro.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on Tornado Talk again. As always, we even had a few of those special after the storm, programming for folks. But business at hand, though. I know you guys have your game faces on heading into the season opener this weekend, a trip to Mount Berry, Georgia. Can you talk overall, how you feel the team is at this point, just less than 48 hours from the regular season opener, and how preseason has gone for the team?
I mean, in Division Three, preseason is so short. We have to get, a lot of concept in a short amount of time. But I think they've responded well to all the ideas we've tried to teach them. Right now, it is really just kind of sorting out set pieces. Just sorting out corner set pieces, kind of how we wanna take those set pieces. Because I mean, I think they do understand kind of the style of soccer we want to play and kind of our philosophy. So now it's just sorting out those small details prior or before the game. And I mean, they're going to be two big tests. They're both established Division three programs. So it'll be good to see how we measure up against some historically very talented Division three programs.
And a number of newcomers on this year's team, and for many of whom this will be their first college soccer road trip
Right.
of their career. Um, you know, how important is that all that goes smoothly? The logistics of it, the gelling of the team on the road, the
Right. Yeah.
unity of the team, getting away from the college campus
Yeah.
and kind of the comforts of being here on campus to sleeping in a hotel and getting it done.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that they're comfortable. They don't have to worry about the logistics and just focus on the game. That's where we come in. We'll handle all that logistical stuff, the meals, the hotels, and all that. So for us, it's just to try to make them as comfortable as possible, so that they can focus on the game. So they don't have to focus. Oh, when are we gonna eat dinner? Or where are we staying? Or who do I have to room with? So we try to take care of all those details before, and that way they can just relax once they get on the bus, and they can just get their minds right for the games.
We talked to Coach Dana, who gave kind of an overview, unit by unit,
Mhm.
of this year's team. You work very closely in what has always been your trade as a soccer
Right.
player and now a coach with the goalkeepers.
Correct.
So that is your expertise
Right.
amongst many other duties here at the program. Can you talk a little bit about this year's group of goalkeepers heading into the season?
Yeah, so we have a group of talented goalkeepers. So we have Patrick Hall returning, who's our senior and has been our captain. And then we have Jackson Bruce, who's a sophomore from Georgia, and he's returned. And then we have Pedro Campos from Brazil, who's added a lot of depth and competition to the field. So it's a very talented and very exciting group to work with. Um, Again, they're very professional kids. They respond well to the training, and now there is a lot of competition. They're pushing each other to get better and fight for the spot. Because in the goalkeeper position, only one plays. You know, so we really want to make sure that whoever has the spot won it outright. And Pedro's come in and kind of raised the level of the returners, and I think he's learning a lot from the returners as well, especially Patrick, whose distribution is one of the best in the conferences. I think that's what Pedro can pick up, and Pedro is an excellent shot stopper. So that I think Jackson and Patrick can pick some tips there as well. So I have three very talented young men, and I'm very excited to work with them, and hopefully we get to see a little bit of each one in the games. But that's it's how it's go. Whoever's performing is going to win the role, because it's a very important job. They're our last line of defense, so we have to feel confident that whoever wins the goalkeeper spot is going to turn up and make the big save.
Well, I had the pleasure of seeing the exhibition game this past Saturday against Guilford, a 1-0 win for the Tornadoes, and the work by the goalkeepers was spectacular at times. I mean, diving saves,
Yeah.
kind of these, jaw-dropping, wow, did he just pull that off kind of
Right.
thing. I guess that's sort of a blessing and a curse at the same time, a
Yeah.
double-edged sword, because you don't want,
It's great that they're making saves, but at the same time, as a coaching staff, it makes you nervous because the ball is close to your own net. You really don't want them to be making that many saves. But it was really reassuring for me to know that when that time comes, they are able to make those saves. Patrick made two very big saves in the first half, and then Pedro had like 8 saves um, towards the end. And I think what Pedro does really well is he's able to anticipate and read the game and um, close down the striker, so where he makes the saves look easy, he keeps them all within his vicinity because he's just one step ahead, and he knows when to come out and close them down. But yeah, very good performances by both goalkeepers for sure. So it's nice to know that they'll come up big and save us, but at the same time you don't want the ball to be that close to your net.
Yeah.
as much as it was.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, Coach, I know you've told some of these stories on Tornado Talk when we
Right.
have the show over at Dugan's Pub, but do want to let this audience know a little more about you. And
Okay.
when I scan the coaching staff at Brevard College, there's one coach who pops out to me as being, all right, that guy is Brevard College.
Right.
I mean, you virtually grew up on this campus.
Yeah.
You played here.
I did.
You've been here as a coach.
Right.
You know, it's in your blood.
Pretty much, yeah.
This color blue that each of us is wearing. Can you tell folks kind of the story, you know, of
Okay.
in the relationship with you and Brevard College?
Yeah, so my parents moved to Brevard when I was about 14 years old. My dad became the head men's soccer coach here when I was about 14 years old. So I did high school here. So what I would do is after my high school practice, I would ride my bike to campus and I'd go to his practice and I'd run balls, pick up cones, you know, fill up water bottles and just try to absorb and watch as much as I could.
So then I would imagine you're more thinking about your playing career, not becoming a coach
Right,
necessarily,
yeah.
but looking back at it now, were some seeds planted then that, you know, hey, coaching is where you're going to ultimately end up?
Perhaps, you know, when I was younger or something that I you know, I never said, "Hey, I want to be a soccer coach." When I was growing up, I just was trying to play as much as possible. And you know, in the area at the time, playing opportunities were pretty limited. So you know, after the high school season, I would come and watch the college guys play because I just wanted to keep learning and keep developing as a player. So I would come and pick up cones, run balls. I'd go buddy up with the goalkeepers and chat with the one that was kind of resting while one was taking reps. And then sometimes, you know, if it was a weekend game and I didn't have anything going on, my dad would take me to the games, and he would let me warm up the goalkeepers or help warm up the goalkeepers. And by that I mean I would have to run or chase the balls that went over the goal and over the fence. So I'd have to go and run and bring them back and make sure the water bottles were filled and or he would make sure we had all the pennies and all the equipment. So I was like an equipment manager at the time. And then, you know, I'd been around the team, so I knew most of the guys that had just so around my junior, senior year, I'd been around the team for a long time, and when it was time to make a decision about where I wanted to go, Brevard was kind of a natural fit. You know, I knew the team pretty well, and I knew that I could come in and compete and possibly play. So, yeah, I decided to come to Brevard, and then I became a player. So I went from that kid that kind of was just hanging around the team to actually being part of the team. It was like a dream come true. And then to be fair, I didn't play very much. You know, I came off the bench a few times because, again, you know, as a goalkeeper, it's very hard. Only one plays. And, you know, the goalkeeper that was ahead of me had won the spot outright, and he was performing well, and he was consistent. So, but I had my opportunities, and I enjoyed my playing career. And so around my junior, senior year, I kind of had a little existential crisis. I didn't know what I was going to do after graduation. And actually, one of my assistant coaches here called me to go work with him at Emory and Henry College. And so I was like, yeah, I want to be around the game for a little bit longer. So I went over there. I had a really good experience over there, and it was a short-term gig. You know, it was for 1 or 2 years tops, resume builder kind of thing. So after the season there, I decided to come back, and that's when I started working with the women's program while I was finishing my master's. And that's when I kind of figured out, you know, maybe coaching is something I want to do full-time, and, you know, athletics is something I want to pursue. So then when the opportunity opened up here to become the assistant men's soccer coach, I jumped right on it, and here I am entering my second season. So I went from, you know, this high school kid that was kind of just following the team to playing to now running or helping run the program. So I've kind of come full circle.
Yeah, I love it. It's like a storybook
Right.
type deal. And along the way, you also have earned a master's
Yes.
from Georgia Southern University.
That is correct.
Has that helped you as far as, you know, some of those skills, maybe from the administrative side and the business side?
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot of, especially like when it comes to social media and marketing the program for recruiting purposes, that has helped me a lot. You know, the program dealt with a lot of consumer behavior, why kind of people become sports fans and what motivates them to consume and go to games and purchase products and things like that. So I kind of use some of those same ideas and theories when developing some of our, Instagram stories or posts or things like that. So it's definitely helped me a lot with a lot of administrative duties that I have, especially marketing the program and kind of creating more exposure and reaching more potential student athletes.
Yeah, well, Coach, in addition to being Coach L's, right hand in so many areas and working with those goalkeepers, you also are the coach of the reserves
Correct.
team.
Yeah.
Could you tell folks a little bit about the reserves program here?
So the reserves program was developed because we have 55 guys on the team. So only 11 play, so opportunities were going to be limited. So we developed this reserve squad to give student athletes an opportunity to play. And to develop more as players, because sometimes they come in and they might not be as fit, or they come in and they might be missing something. So this gives them an opportunity to get as much training, to get as many reps as possible, because they have their own practices, which I plan the practices and run the practices, and then we have, I think, 9 games scheduled for this year. So they have 9 games where they get to play the majority of the time, and they get to develop as soccer players. And then hopefully, in 1 or 2 years, they'll be at the level that they need to be to start competing in the first team. And so that's the goal, to give players the opportunity to play games and to develop as much as possible as soccer players. Because when I was playing, there was no reserve team, so it was either you won your spot or you sat the bench. So there weren't many opportunities to develop. But now they have extra practices, and we schedule these extra games, so now they have opportunities to play and show us kind of what they have, and it's really cool to see them develop, but not only as players but as young men, since I work with them so closely. So that's pretty cool, and it's a unique situation for me because I get to develop as a coach as well. I get to run an exercise, and I can say, what, maybe that wasn't a good idea, so maybe I can tweak it, and so I'm developing as well. So it's a really good opportunity for them, but also for me to develop as a coach. So when the opportunity comes for me to become a head coach, I'll be more prepared to take on a program.
Fantastic. And if fans in the area want to check out the reserves, Tuesday, September 10th, a match against Gardner-Webb at 6:30 p.m. here
Correct.
at Ives Lamel Family
Yep.
Field. So look forward to seeing some folks out there to support that fine group. Well, Coach, before I let you go, final thoughts as far as, sort of big picture, and I guess where I want to go with this is, why should a, prospective student athlete, a high school player who's out there playing soccer somewhere throughout the United States or perhaps anywhere throughout the world for that matter,
Right.
why should they come here to Brevard College?
I mean, to be fair, I think I've said it once before on the show, but it's just the people. We have such incredible people on the staff and on the team that the team is it's like a family. It's like a brotherhood. Like, I got married not too long ago, and there were guys that I played with that I hadn't reached out to in a long time, that showed up to my wedding, and we kind of just reconnected. Like it was like we never went out of touch. So it's just a brotherhood, and you get to form lifelong friends and lifelong relationships that I wouldn't trade for the world. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to work at Brevard, and I've stayed at Brevard for an extended period of time.
Very good, Coach. Well, best of luck for this 2019 season. It all begins this weekend with 2 matches at Barry, the Barry Invitational in Mount Barry, Georgia.
Yep.
Good luck on that road trip. And
Thank
then a match at Montreat. And then the home opener, come on out, folks, Saturday, September the 14th at Ives Lamel Family Field. Not only the home opener, but a conference match
Right,
against
yeah.
Covenant. The conference season starting quite early, really.
That's how Division III is. Once you start, you kind of just it's almost like a sprint. Sometimes they say it's a marathon, but no, sometimes it feels like a sprint. So once we get rolling, the days fly by for sure.
Very good. Well, Coach, thanks for joining the special edition of Tornado Talk.
Yeah,
Best of
for
luck
sure.
this
Thank you.
season, and we'll certainly see you
Yeah, for
down
sure.
the road.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. All right, that was Associate Head Coach Juan Mascaro Jr. As we will get our next guest settled here. Luca Silvani and Felipe Andrade, as we'll get these two settled with their equipment here in the Whittick conference room. Just bring that microphone nice and close to your mouth, gentlemen. And great to be joined now by two members of the Tornadoes men's soccer team, Felipe Andrade and Luca Silvani. Thanks for joining the show, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Thank you for inviting us here. It's pretty nice.
Very good. Well, from your perspective, because I asked your coaches this question, how has preseason gone as far as preseason training heading into this weekend's game?
I start.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it's pretty nice. It's the first time we are in a preseason, a serious preseason, and you always watch the TV, like professional soccer teams in preseason and all this kind of stuff. And when you are inside it, you see like how hard it is, a soccer player life, and this kind of stuff. And most of people say, oh, it's not that hard, but you need to battle. It's an inside battle with yourself, with your body, because you want that position, and you are seeing your friends playing the same as you, fighting for the position too. So like it's healthy, and I think it's really good for us, and it's making us increase up as players, as human beings, and all this kind of stuff.
Very good. And Felipe?
Yeah, I believe in the same way. I think it was really important for all of us, important for the whole team, because we didn't have much time. Like before our first scrimmage, we didn't have much time to practice together and everything. But one thing I noticed that this preseason helped us a lot was each player and the staff and everyone realized what we were doing wrong and what like we could get better and everything. I realized myself during preseason all the mistakes and everything that I could get better. And another thing that preseason helped us a lot was like bonding as a team. I think this team like really bonded as a family really quickly, and that was like for me one of the most important things that happened during preseason. And it was really important for this whole getting to know each other, because it's a really like new team. There are a lot of freshmen and everything, and for us it's our first preseason in a college team. So this whole adaptation and this whole like feeling a family right in the beginning was really important, and for the other boys I think it was pretty important too.
Now, you're both from Brazil,
Yes.
correct? Can you tell a little bit how you found Brevard College?
Luca and I, we used to practice together in Brazil, in a center over there, like a practice center. And the guy who runs the whole program and everything, he went to college over here and he graduated from Brevard College. He played soccer and everyone. Renato. So he pretty much knew the whole college. He knows a lot of people. He knows Coach L, and he had a great experience here. So he only said good things about it and everything, and he passed it on to us. So that's pretty much how we got to know about the whole program and
It
everything.
was an easy decision when we had the opportunity. We were like, oh, like even more if we could stay together, because we did senior year together. We're like, oh, we want to go. We want to have this experience.
Now, would like to hear each of you's opinion of your style of play. You know, what kind of player are you? You know, if you were to describe, if I said, okay, you've got 30 seconds to describe what kind of soccer player you are, what comes to mind? We'll start with you, Felipe.
Okay, pretty much when I think about like my soccer way of playing, I think I like to play like fast. I like to play through the sides and everything. I love dribbling. I love dribbling with the ball and everything. I think if my soccer skills, I realize like when my soccer skills are not good enough at a part, I try to work as hard as I can. So I believe like I'm a hard worker in the soccer in the field and outside of the field. So I believe my soccer skills is just like I like playing like quickly and I give it all I got inside the field.
Very
That's pretty
good.
much.
Luca?
Yeah, I really like dribbling, playing wide, going inside the goals, like giving some assists. And if I feel the game, I'm not really good at dribbling at the moment. I want to get the heart for my team. I'll start play faster in defense. I'll start to talk more, to call the game for me, because I want to improve inside that game. I need to prove myself, and for my teammates that I am there. I'm there to help them. And so if I'm good, if I'm not, I'll play. I don't care. I'll just do everything for Brevard College.
Very good. Now, the next exercise is this. I want you each to describe the other. So, Felipe, describe what kind of player Luca is, and Luca, the same for Felipe.
Yeah, I think we kind of got to know each other a lot, our playing styles and everything, because since we did our senior in high school together. But Lucas, since we started playing together, I played as a winger one side, he plays the other. And pretty much when we realized like we were pretty much the same, I think right at the beginning he already showed he was a hard worker and everything. I realized during practices and all, when he missed the ball, I like extremely mad at himself because I knew he wanted to get better and everything. And inside the field when we're playing, it's like war to him. I see like his veins popping out. I see like how angry he gets with himself is if he does something wrong. But like when he's always like trying to do what's best for the team, and he loves just getting the ball, like through really the side of the field, like receiving with space, just going with all he's got, like really quickly because he's extremely fast, and then he loves like cutting the ball all the time, like pretending to like to shoot it and cut it, and he's really good at it. That's pretty much what I realized when I started playing a lot.
Okay, and now Luca, tell us about Felipe.
So it's the same way we played a whole year together. We did a good double last year, and Felipe was one of the most important players I have ever played with. Like his dedication for the team, like the ball is about to go out, he doesn't care if he's in the other side of the field. He will run as fast as he can for giving a slight tackle and play the ball in, because he knows one matter, no matter what happened, he will be the best for the team. And like he's probably the fastest player I have ever played with. Like, and last year no one could stop him in the right wing. Players will come after the game and say, what are you waiting? What are you doing for being that fast? Because no one could stop him. And he was really good with some of his dribblings. He would Rabona cross when he can't cross with his left is really nice too. So it's some kind of skills that we don't see much here, but he can do it.
Very good. Well, the last thing before I let you two go, the nice thing about these broadcasts that we're doing here today is because they're over the internet, you could watch it from anywhere throughout the world, and that includes your home country of Brazil. So I would like each of you to have the opportunity, and you can look right there at the camera and tell them whatever you like, to give a message to your friends and families back in Brazil, and you can do it in your native language of Portuguese if you like. So please, the floor is yours, and if you want to give a message back to friends and family in Brazil.
I'll just start in English if like other Americans are watching everything. I just want to say I'm really excited for this season. I think if you are watching this, you're probably Tornado fans and everything. So please like watch our games. Come out if you're nearby. Their support is really important. I think the team has already like gathered a lot of love from the people from this college, because every game we see more people coming over, more people getting interested in the game and wanting to watch us play. I think that's extremely important for all of us here. So if you're around and if you want to come watch us, that's really important to us. So thank you so much. And pro pessoal do Brasil que está assistindo, que continue dando esse suporte, que é muito importante. Minha família que está aí, tomara que vocês estejam assistindo ou não, mas obrigado por tudo, e acho que o suporte de quem está aí de fora também é muito importante, nas páginas e tudo, e assistindo, e é isso. Estou muito feliz de estar aqui. Obrigado. Yeah,
Very good. Luca?
I'll start in English as well. I would like to at first thank Renato in Brazil and Coach El for having us this opportunity to be here. Like, it's already, I'm not here for a month, and it's already one of the greatest experiences in my life. I always dream with it, and that's all becoming true. So I'm just keep continuing to work hard and do the best I can. And if you can support us, just come, because you'll have fun. We'll show you what Brevard is. We'll show how Tornado plays, and we want to make that game best for you. And we'll do everything. And para quem está no Brasil me assistindo, eu espero que vocês estejam bem. Eu tô curtindo muito aqui. Eu só queria agradecer por tudo que vocês fizeram e continuam fazendo por mim, que eu tenho certeza que eu vou dar meu máximo para retribuir, porque eu não tenho que provar para ninguém além de vocês o que vocês me deram, eu vou retribuir. Então, muito obrigado, amo muito vocês aí.
Very good. Well, great job on the show today. Good luck this weekend heading into the season opener, and we'll be following every step of the way. Great job, gentlemen. We're really pleased to have you here at Brevard College.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
All right, that was Felipe Andrade and Lucas Silvani. two of those newcomers on this year's Brevard College Tornadoes team. As this special edition of 2019 Tornado Talk, men's soccer preview rolls on as we're joined now by Jackson Riddle and Felipe Lisboa. Gentlemen, thanks for joining Tornado Talk.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Really, it's really special to be here.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you guys. And I'll start with the same question I did with the last two. You're less than 48 hours away from the first game of the season, of the regular season. You've played 2 exhibition games thus far, and I'm sure a challenging few weeks of preseason camp, is mostly behind you. How have you felt that the preseason has gone, and do you guys feel prepared heading into this weekend's games?
Yeah, sure. I'll start us off. I think that we've grown every single day. Granted, our first exhibition match was on our 4th day together. We've improved drastically every single day that we've been together, getting to know how people like the ball, where they want the ball, and just really getting to know each other a lot. We have a lot of new faces this year, and everybody's really excited for how we're coming together.
I think it's been like getting used to it. It's a completely different environment than I've ever been before, because, first, the weather here is crazy, and my teammates are way different the way I'm used to play. I think we'll talk more about that as we go on, about the team qualities, but it's very unique, and I think the preseason has been about staying fit and getting fit and getting to know each other, which is the main part. Even sometimes we would say after the practice that our scream would say family, because we are starting to bond so much that we would talk to everyone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jackson, you're senior on this year's
Yes.
team, and so you're familiar with Brevard College.
Mm-hmm.
You're from Asheville, North Carolina, correct? So
Yes.
you're from the area. We've got all these newcomers, many of whom are from throughout all over the world,
Mhm.
including Felipe here.
Yeah.
Have you taken on a role of trying to, acclimate them to Brevard College and sort of, say, hey, the weather isn't as crazy as one might think?
Well, I have tried to help people acclimate to the school, but the school is so inclusive and so great with internationals in the area as well. It's not just us welcoming them, it's the entire community and the school being very open and very helpful to new faces.
And Felipe, you've been on the receiving end of some of that.
Yeah. I think all the times that I went to a new club or a new team, I'd never been as well received as I'm being here. The guys went to pick me in the airport, and we were talking like we're friends for years. So it's crazy. We do like jokes with each other that I don't do with my friends from years back home. So
Very good. Jackson, we can talk even further about kind of the area, and being from, nearby Asheville and so forth. Was Brevard College someplace that was kind of always on your radar, being a local of sorts here?
Yeah, I always kind of knew about the school and was interested from not a young age, but once I started to realize that I wanted to play college soccer, it was definitely on my radar. And I'm glad that I've loved my time here. I've been able to commute to save a lot of money, and I've really just enjoyed it.
And a senior, you'll be graduating this coming spring.
Yes, sir.
What will your degree be in?
I'm a business major at the board program.
Very good. And have
Mhm.
you thought even further beyond that, what you might want to do career-wise?
Yeah, I'd like to go get my graduate degree in sustainability or sustainable technology, and hopefully step into a role as a climatology consultant. That's what I would really like to do.
Very good. Now, Felipe, I know you're new to Brevard College, and on the other end of the spectrum compared to Jackson as far as just starting your academics. But
Yeah.
Do you have a major in mind already?
yeah, I actually do. Back home, I did a bit on journalism, which back home is a major. I know here's a minor in English, so that's my focus.
Excellent.
I want to work with communication because I found fascinating how much you can learn from just talking to someone.
Very nice. Appreciate that. You and I might need to talk afterwards, and might have some opportunities for you in the world of sports. Now back to the field. Heading into this weekend's game, we heard from the last two who really went in depth describing their traits as players, and I'm going to give you guys that same opportunity. How would you describe yourself as a soccer player?
Well, I think that my game has changed a lot throughout the years. I've started my career really as a pretty undeveloped technical player, and I've tried to improve on that throughout the years and really focus on my technique in terms of dribbling and passing to really improve all facets of my game so that I can be a more well-rounded player and be able to help out the team wherever they need me.
Great. Felipe?
I think I'm not as physical player, and my strengths, I mean, all the coaches that I had, they always told me that my strength was pure technique, which is something good, but it has its upsides as well, because mainly the way soccer is played, I almost said football, the way soccer is played here in America is very physical and very fast, and I think I can be faster, not with the ball, but as running, basically. So I could play in more positions.
Very good. And I was doing a little research on you, Jackson, and the word that kept on coming to mind was this guy's passionate about the world of fitness and conditioning, and one of the leaders on the team in that department. Can you talk a little bit about that? And, I guess my question is this: can you make fitness and conditioning fun somehow?
Well, yeah, I think that you can. I've really enjoyed growing my strengths in terms of fitness, trying to always be faster, develop more stamina, get stronger. It is hard sometimes during the season. You don't want to kill your body too much. You want to be able to have enough time to recover and things like that. But I've really enjoyed the process and being able to see yourself progress, reaching different milestones, whether that's in the weight room or whether that's getting a second or two faster on a 400-meter run or trying to take a minute off of your mile or something like that. It's great to see yourself progress.
Right, and all those improvements certainly ultimately help on the soccer field, especially late in games when conditioning matters.
Yeah, it can make a huge difference, especially playing center back, where I'll predominantly be playing this year. You do have to be very physical, keeping people off the ball. It makes your job a lot easier if you're not getting tired and if you're strong and can keep them away from it.
Yeah, and Felipe, if you can touch on that as well, perhaps personally, how have you always approached throughout your soccer career the conditioning side?
I always struggle a bit with, to be honest, but it's something that every time that I had an opportunity, I've been pushed by my teammates and by my coaches to, especially Coach L this season, to improve a lot on this point, because I think it's been one of my weaknesses because I haven't been playing through the last couple of months until I got here. So I think it's something I can improve, and I'm going to learn a lot of this guy, because I was just joking in the last gym session we got. I want to be like him when I grow up. Look at this guy. You should see this guy doing squats, man.
Really?
It's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Very good. Well,
It'll happen.
I think I'm getting an idea for like a future Instagram story or something here, featuring this guy here. Well, before I let you go, want to give you each a chance to give a shout out to any friends or family back at home who might be tuning in. Jackson, we'll start with you.
Yeah, anybody that's watching this, try to come out to any games that you can. We're going to be super competitive this year, improving on what my class started on, trying to develop a legacy and a very strong program here at Brevard. Go Nados.
I think all the people watching back home and all the people from the area here, please support us. It's really important for us, if you are a NATO fan, that you come to the games, because it might not seem like a silly thing, but it makes the whole difference on the field. And for my family back home, I would just say in English because I think everyone can understand it. I'm grateful. I got speechless when I got to talk about it, because it's not that I know we all deserve to be here, but you blessed when you got this opportunity, because a lot of people fight for it every day. They don't get it, and we are here, so we have to make it worth it. And I promise you guys, we're going to make the most out of it as we can.
Very good. Well said, both of you. Great job on today's special edition of Tornado Talk. Jackson Riddle, Felipe Lisboa. Good luck this weekend as you guys kick off the season, and we'll be following every step of the way. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was Jackson Riddle and Felipe Lisboa. Two more of those Brevard College Tornado student athletes from the men's soccer team as this special edition of Tornado Talk rolls on. And we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 wide here. See if we can get everybody settled here. Yep. All right, so Adams. All right, joined now on this special edition of Tornado Talk, the 2019 men's soccer preview. To my right, Adam Spencer, Tristan Wallace in the middle here, and on the far right, Scott Douglas. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, we'll start, and we'll just go down the line here, starting with you, Adam. Heading into this weekend's action, the beginning of the regular season, you've played a couple of exhibitions. Is the team ready?
I think the team's ready, definitely. We've definitely improved off of our first game, which wasn't too well, but we got our first win against Guilford, and we're looking to extend upon that.
And Tristan, from your perspective, how has the preseason gone?
I think it's gone really well. Just like Jackson said earlier, we've been improving every day, and I hope this weekend that will be improved enough to win.
And Scott, you've arrived here from London, England, and I know you've been quickly getting acclimated and up to speed with the team. How's it been going so far for you?
Oh, it's been I'm speechless. You know, everyone's been very welcome. It's been really good. Trying to make sure that I get into the fitness because they're all pretty fit, and I know I'm a bit behind, so I just got to catch up.
Very good. Now, Adam, you're the veteran of this group in terms of Brevard College experience, and you know there's a lot of newcomers on this year's team, a lot of talent, and but guys like yourself, I know, are providing some leadership and probably showing these guys around a bit. How has that been as far as your role being even more of a leader type role this season?
It's been pretty well. It's been very good seeing these hungry freshmen. I know this one is really fighting for a spot, and I feel like I've been doing good trying to lead them down the right path to avoid the mistakes that I made my freshman year and my sophomore year, but they all seem very hungry.
Now, Tristan, while many of the freshman class are from places all over the world, you're from right here in North Carolina, correct? At New Bern, North Carolina, New Bern High School. Was Brevard College someplace on your radar all along, or this part of the country here?
I was looking more towards like 2 hours away from my house, and this is about 6 hours. But one of my close friends from when I was younger, Marquise Dickerson, is from here.
Sure.
And he was recruited as a freshman, and I think that's how I got in contact with Coach Juan, and he recruited me here.
And Scott, coming from London, England, how did you find Brevard College, or did Brevard College find you?
Yeah, so Coach L, he contacted me. It was really helpful with everything, and told me to take a look at the college. I took a look at the college. The college looked really nice. It was really small, like I wanted, and and the college looked really nice. And Coach L just really pushed it with how helpful he was with every trouble that I had.
Very good. Now, Scott, I know soccer, football is king in, no pun intended, in the United Kingdom and in England. Do you have a favorite professional team over there?
Yeah, my team's Arsenal.
Very
That's a
good.
good answer.
I see some guys, because this room is full of people right now, all of whom are very versed in international soccer, and I saw about half the room nodding their head, the other half shaking their head there. But next time we see Arsenal, we'll certainly think of you and your sentiments there, Scott. How about you, Tristan? Do you follow the game as far as the international level of it, and do you watch it on TV a bunch?
I do watch it. I don't have necessarily a favorite team. I just love to watch people play. It's beautiful.
And Adam, same question for you. Are you the kind of person we can see glued to the screen if the Premier League or perhaps some other
If
league
it's
is on?
Arsenal playing, I'm watching.
Oh, so you're an Arsenal guy too. Wow. One of these days we'll have to do a formal poll with the team to see exactly where everyone's allegiances stand. Guys, it's great to have you guys on the program, and you know, it brings a smile to my face, just like, you know, how diverse, you know, the team is and how international we in fact are. It's really sensational. Adam, if we can stick with you just a minute here, because a lot of folks are tuning in, you know, who might not know that much about Brevard College. You've been here for a little while now and had the experience as a student athlete. If you can tell them, you know, if you were speaking to a high school, you know, soccer player, and if you could communicate to him, you know, why it would make sense to come to Brevard College, what would be some of the things you would tell him?
Well, I'd tell them that it's a safe environment, you know. And we have a lot of fun here, but we don't do anything too crazy, you know. And also, it's a great place to learn because all my classes have been very good, with the exception of a few, but unrelated to my major. But I've had a great experience with every single class I've taken, pretty much. In terms of the athletics, I think that we have a very good program, and I think it's gotten a lot better with Coach L coming in and Coach JJ. But yeah, Brevard, home of the White Squirrels. It's a very nice place to live. I enjoy it. I always miss it when I go home for the summer. I just want to come back.
Now, Tristan, have you spotted a white squirrel on campus yet?
Yes, sir. I've seen a couple of them.
And how about yourself, Scott?
No, I've been too busy trying to sleep. Like.
They don't have squirrels in England.
No, we have squirrels, but just not white.
Yeah, and there's a whole history and lore to, you know, the white squirrels here in Brevard, North Carolina, that you'll learn about eventually. You know, again, it's great to have you guys here on the program. Tristan, Adam mentioned it. Some of your teammates mentioned it as well. You know, these two coaches who are, you know, here with us today and who were on the show earlier, Coach L, Coach Mascaro. Just how special have they been as far as getting you up to speed in short time here?
I think I've been caught up very well. Like, it's hard to adapt to play at a collegiate level from what I'm used to, but I think I'm doing a good job of it. I've gotten better every day I've practiced, and I'm working to keep getting better.
Very good. And same question for you, Scott. How has it been, you know, in terms of these coaches getting you up to speed?
So I've only had, I think, 2 or 3 training sessions because I got here so late. I missed pre-season. But the coaches have just been really helpful. Coach L's pushing me, but he's not pushing me too hard because he knows I have to acclimatize. But, you know, just all the support makes me want to push myself even more than they're already pushing me. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, it's really been a crash course for you, you know, as far as getting you up to speed quickly. But we're thrilled that all of you are here and that you're of course back for another season, Adam. As we invite a couple of your teammates on next, I'll give you each the opportunity to give a shout out to somebody back home, you know, or whatever message you'd like to communicate to NATO Nation. The floor is yours, Adam.
All right. I'd first like to shout out my mom, Lisa. I know you're watching. And my dad, Paget Spencer, that helps me get here. And also my brother, Ronald Spencer. Now my friends, Tommy Turner, you better show up to one of these games. And Brandon Hill, I hope you're doing good up in Maine right now. Yeah, come out, support if you can. We need more people at these games. You can go ahead, Tristan.
I would just like to thank my mom for supporting me every day since I was little. This is my dream. I'm glad it's coming true.
Shout out to England. It's I think it's just after 8 o'clock now. So shout out to my mum, brother, dad. Well, I've got 3 brothers: Paul, Philip, Kirk, my sister, Rebecca. You know, I've got a big family back home, all supporting me. I just like to thank you all for all the help you've given me to get me here, and to the NATO Nation. As Adam said, come out, support, make a lot of noise, and we'll do our best this season to win the conference.
Awesome. And I like that. Prime time in England right now, right? You know, just after dinner, everybody's settling in,
Yeah.
maybe tuning in to some tornado talk. Well, gentlemen, great job today on the show. Good luck this weekend heading into the regular season, and we'll be following every step of the way. And fans, September 14th, Saturday, September 14th, the home opener for the Tornadoes, where you can see these student athletes, 3 p.m. at Ives Lamel Family Field versus Covenant. Thanks again, gentlemen. Great job on the show. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was the trio of Adam Spencer, Tristan Wallace, and Scott Douglas. as this special edition of Tornado Talk rolls on. And we're back with this special edition of Tornado Talk, the 2019 men's soccer preview on the eve of the regular season opener in Mount Berry, Georgia. Tornadoes will be in action beginning this weekend on Saturday versus Swanee and then Sunday at Berry. And we're joined now by Mateos Masukawa, Juan Martin, and Pedro Campos. Great to have these three on the program. Gentlemen, welcome to Tornado Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Mateos, we'll start with you since you're the veteran of this group, and you're used to these broadcast situations. I want to thank you for all the help you've done behind the scenes. Bringing a lot of Tornado athletics over the air. On the broadcast. I'll start with you with the same question that I've asked all the soccer players this afternoon. How has preseason gone, and are you ready for this weekend?
Preseason has been really good, and I think we're still making some changes and some good we're still making some stuff else, and I think we're gonna be good. We're gonna be fine this weekend. We're playing two good teams, and it's an interesting weekend to see how prepared we are for the rest of the season, and after that, more we're going to start the conference games, and now it's really hard.
Very good. And Juan, how has the preseason been from your perspective?
Well, I'm ready for this season. I believe the team is ready for this season, are ready for this season. And the first game is no good, but we try to better and then better because that is a soccer. The soccer is you training, you better, you winning. That's it. And if you lose, you wake up and you start it again.
Very good. And Pedro, goalkeeper from Brazil, and one of the many freshmen on this team who are bringing all sorts of talent to the Tornadoes this year. How's it been so far that you've arrived here at Brevard College?
Well, it's have been really good for me. All my teammates have supported me during practice, during games. I have a lot of veterans that help me a lot. Both coaches are helping me, so I think we're on our way, and I think we're ready for the next game.
Now, Mateos, a 1-0 win over Guilford in the second preseason game. If you can reflect back on that, did the coaches give you some feedback on how you all performed in that game?
Yeah, so they said that we got better from the first game, and the first game was pretty tough against Milligan. They were a good team, and against Guilford we were we had more. We have more. We were more fixed to play better, and we know everything that we were doing. And it was really good, and I hope we got even better and better in each game.
Very good. Now, would like viewers to get to know each of you a little more as far as your journey, eventually winding up here at Brevard College. Juan, we'll start with you. You're from Ecuador.
Yeah, I'm from Ecuador.
So talk about, I guess my first question would be, when did you first start playing soccer?
Well, I'm playing in Emelec. It's a team from Ecuador. It's a good team, but the soccer is so different. Because here the university, you need to try to keep to your teammates, but in Ecuador you much separated to to the your teammates because it's not the same school or not the same thinking. That's it. Yeah, but I like to come in this college and knows to these people because he helped me in the team and better than my English.
Very good. And Pedro, goalkeeper from Brazil.
Yeah.
When did you first start playing soccer, and did you always play goalkeeper?
Yeah, it was. I started when I was really young, 5 years old maybe. Soccer is in my life since I was born. I always was a goalkeeper. It's what I love, and I just want to keep doing this for how long I can.
Very good. And how did you find Brevard College?
Well, I know some Brazilians that came here, Henrique Tâmega, Gabriel Venegas, Renato Barbosa, and they all of them told like a lot of good stuff from Brevard, and also Coach Shell contact me, and it would be like a pleasure to play for someone with his historic.
Very good. Well, before I let you go, I do want to give you each the chance to say hello to whoever you like, whether it be friends and family back at home, maybe even some friends here on campus, whoever might be tuning in to this broadcast. Mateos, we'll start with you.
I would like to thank my mom, my dad, my family that always support me, and my teammates too. Thank you. And for the people who are watching it, just keep supporting and come to the field whenever we have a game and support us.
La calidad. Well, first, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for confidence me, trust me, and talk, and thank you for my family, my grandfather, my mother, because he paid me the school, and he always helped me when I put crazy in Ecuador, and my father because he lived here, and my teammates because he helped me in this college because my English is not very well, but right now is well for that reason.
And Juan, you're
And
welcome.
French.
If you'd like to give the folks back in Ecuador a message in Spanish, you can do that as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, please.
Bueno, agradezco a todos, agradezco a toda la universidad porque me han ayudado a mis compañeros de la universidad y al coach Juan que siempre me anda arreglando mis tonterías y al coach Ed que me ha apoyado, que recién nos estamos conociendo, pero que hay que siempre ser agradecido con todo. Y vamos tornados, todo posible.
Very nice. And finally, Pedro, the same opportunity for you to give a shout out to anyone you like. You can go English, Portuguese, both, whatever you like to do.
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank everyone from the soccer team, from the players to the staff. They helped me a lot. Say thank you for everyone that came to support us last two games, and I wish I can see more people supporting us for the next. Just say thank you for my family back to Brazil and for my other family back to Cali. If they're watching, they know who they are, but they are really important for me, and that's it.
Very nice.
Very-
Very nicely done, gentlemen. Well, good luck heading into this weekend. A big opportunity for the Tornadoes with this regular season opening weekend. And do want to remind fans, September 14th, Ives Lamel Family Field, 3 p.m., the home opener versus Covenant, which will be big as well. But I know you guys take it one game at a time, of
Yeah.
course. So first things first, good luck this weekend on Saturday. And great job on Tornado Talk. It was great having you
Thank
all
you.
on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Well, that was Juan Martin, Mateos Masukawa, and Pedro Campos, those three men's soccer student athletes, as this special edition of Tornado Talk is coming to a conclusion. Any more guests? I think that's it. Very good. Well, we appreciate all the guests for coming on. It was great to hear from several Tornado student athletes, as well as head coach El Dana and associate head coach Juan Mascaro Jr. Do want to remind fans the Tornadoes will be in action this weekend at the Barry Invitational. Stay tuned to Brevard College Tornadoes social media accounts, at BC Tornadoes on Twitter, at BC Tornadoes on Instagram, the Brevard College Athletics Facebook page. We'll be providing as many updates as we can through those channels as those games take place this weekend. There are also links to live stats and live video if you go to bctornadoes.com, where you can view those games. The Tornadoes will return to Brevard next week and then have a game in the region at Montreat on Saturday, September the 7th. In case you're in the Montreat or Black Mountain or Asheville area, want to check out the Tornadoes, that's at 7 p.m. at Montreat. And then the big date that we have circled around here is Saturday, September 14th, the home opener versus Covenant, which is also a USA South Conference game at 3 p.m. Be sure to stay tuned to bctornadoes.com for all the latest news, stats, and information. And thanks for tuning in to this special edition of Tornado Talk, the 2019 Brevard College Tornadoes men's soccer season preview. Go Tornadoes!